Ladies and gentlemen, today is our session, okay, from zero to hero. Okay, let me give you guys an idea of kind of interview session that you guys are expected to receive over the next 1 hour or so. Okay, now this won't be your usual interview. You know, I ask you question and then ask them question, then they answer properly, you know, that kind of stuff. This will be raw talk. Okay, so this will be literally where, you know, we want to go in a bit deeper into some of the challenges when it comes to leads, conversion, and all the other things. Okay. Maybe I share with you guys how to maximize your time. Okay, so the best, number one, is to write down your observations on what are some of the mindsets or some of the things that these people tell themselves when they face challenges. Okay, because everybody face challenges and hardships and mindset issues on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so that's the first thing, right? Write down what are some of the things that they do and say for themselves, say to themselves, okay, that you know how to overcome challenges. Number two, right? They are probably going to share with you some strategies and all that things. So I think that's also a good thing. Okay. And the best part is this. Along this, let's start off. Okay. So let me do a quick introduction. Let me introduce Zack first. Or rather, actually, I should introduce myself first. I will help out. I think let me introduce myself. Okay. My name is Ben. Okay. I'm a coach for financial advisors, and you know, we coach advisors to get more clients, you know, and coach them to transform their advisory and beyond. Okay, and we have this program called 2XYC. And in the course of this journey, I have coached a lot of advisors and I've seen a lot of them. And, you know, coincidentally, Jian Kun and Zack and Levinson is our first couple of clients that we coach. And it's been a year, you know, and they have achieved a lot of success, to be honest, a lot of success. But beyond that, you know, tonight we are not going to talk much about those successes. We're going to talk about what they do to overcome all these challenges. Because I can assure you, just like every single one of you here, you guys have faced your own set of hardship, challenges, and downhill moments where you don't have leads and all that stuff, right? Okay, so that's for me. Okay, but for Jian Kun, okay, Jian Kun is from Prudential. Okay, all the pro people, please wave your hand. Please type inside please type P inside I don't know, type fucking whatever best Prudential mascot or whatever y'all have. Just type Pru. Okay, all the Pru people. Okay, these are all the Pru people. Prudential what? Hey, Kenny, you're not FA. Okay, you're with me. What the heck, you Prudential what? What the heck? All the PP. Okay, all the Prudential people. Okay, so Jian Kun is 5 years. You know, and 1 or 2 months in the industry. He started off as an advisor. Okay, he started off as an advisor. What am I talking about? Obviously, he started off as an advisor. He started off as a student. Sorry, he started off as a student advisor from uni. Okay, and worked his way up all the way until now. Okay, and we go quite a while back when I was an advisor back then in the industry. He lost one of his case to me. So he get pretty upset. No kidding, he lost his case to me.
Super well.
Okay, so that's why now he learning. Okay, but just jokes aside, but Jian Kun has faced a lot of set of challenges, especially when he was younger. Who over here below 23, 24 years old? Kenny, Terrence, and Fadli. Okay, and all the zabo all the ladies, all 21, correct or not? Okay, so basically, when you are young, you face a lot of objections, right? Your older prospects, they think that you're inexperienced, or rather, they think you're not grounded. I think that's the word. You're not grounded enough to manage money. Okay. And he faced a lot of that, and you overcame that year and year and year again, right? And to date, I think last year, Jian Kun, you did your MDRT.
Yes.
Right. He did MDRT, and this handsome guy, if you guys have seen his videos on Instagram, Jian Kun, if you don't mind, you type inside the chat box. His Instagram, you type your Instagram username inside the chat box. Okay. You guys can see him okay, you guys see on Instagram. I'll share the links later. He does a lot of videos. He does a lot of his videos on Instagram, you know, and he does a very funny, humorous videos. Who over here? When's the last time you all see a funny insurance video? No? You all maybe see on Sydney or Mothership, I don't know what, but this guy, he takes it a whole new level. Okay. And this is, you know, one of the things that he does as well to take his business to the next level, you know, in terms of getting leads, engagement, and conversions, right? Now, this for Jian Kun, and I'll let him speak more later. For Levinson, where's Levinson? Levinson.
Yes.
Well, Levinson joined in 2019, December, correct?
Around there, yeah.
Around there. Okay. When and he started off in Manulife. Anybody here Manulife? I shouldn't ask this question, right? Because Bolang.
Terrence.
Okay. So you see, okay. So Levinson is from Manulife. When he first joined, he was scared. I think he was lost, a lot of struggles and all that things. And fortunately, he met me. No, I'm kidding. Okay, but when we met in April, he started to pick things up and all that stuff. And right now, Levinson, last year, how much you end off in the FYC?
FYC only, I think it's 84 or 85,000.
85K last year. Okay,
yeah.
Levinson ended off 85K last year.
Yeah.
In April, what do you have?
Comms only, I think was like 2 or 3,000. Like, yeah, 2 or 3,000 only. Basically, I'm barely hitting my basic. Then, just very stressful at that point of time.
Okay, so this is his shit that he's doing. Okay, and a lot of success and all that stuff, right? And today, of course, we need to pick his brains a bit on how he actually did it. Okay, so let's start this off. Okay, let's start with Levinson, right? So Levinson, I just want to ask, over the last 1 year, the first part of your career, you had a lot of actually, how about you share with us what are some of the struggles that you really face before your business start to take off?
Wow, struggle. I think it's more like I need to adjust my ego a bit, because I feel like when I want to sell the insurance itself, right, I don't dare to talk about insurance. So even when I got leads, I got prospect whatsoever, I don't dare to talk to them. And then that was like really one of my struggles lah. Then ever since like during circuit breaker, I think circuit breaker was a very good thing lah. Like I was at home, I keep thinking like what was it that I done wrong and all that. And then that's where I realized that if I ever I don't dare to talk about the product itself, then there's no way in hell I'm able to sell the product. So I would say I adjust the way I try to sell my products differently and how I communicate. Yeah. Then after that, try to improve on and on. A lot of failures here and there, but yeah. Then after that, 习惯了就好咯。
习惯了就好。Yeah. So, but if I were to go a little deeper, right, Levinson, how did the stigma of the industry, affected you as an advisor? Because, everybody is an advisor or is going to be an advisor. They know, insurance especially is a taboo kind of thing. They look down on you and all that stuff. How did it affect your confidence, especially as somebody that just started as an advisor?
I think everyone been here before. When we enter industry, we confirm think like, wow, if we enter, wow, confirm later like the stigma like that. Then say I like some other insurance agent and all that. Yeah, it affected me a lot, like really a lot. Like in terms of my personality, right, my ego actually quite high one. So I know that if I join this industry, right, is confirm cannot one lah. In my own mind, I already know is cannot. But the reason why I joined is because during that before I think like 2017, around 2017, my mother went to ICU. So when she went to ICU, right, a lot of shit happened lah. Like the bills itself and everything, it was like 500,000 to 600,000. Like just one bill itself. It's not even, you haven't even count finish the stay in ICU and whatsoever. It's just the surgery and everything itself, because it was a brain virus or something. And then that was really at that point that I realized how important like insurance was lah. And then with the stigma itself, right, I had this thinking like, okay, insurance is important and I want to change it up. I want to make a difference. I want to change. I want people to know how important insurance is. So when I joined the industry, my thinking was like, I'm not going to care about the stigma. I'm going to try to be as different, as honest, as transparent as I can be lah. And that was my motivational point. But the only problem I had was that I do not know how to deliver the message across, like how important insurance is, which is sales itself lah. Basically, sales is always about communication and everything. So yeah, so that was some of the few things that was going through my mind when I joined the industry.
Wow, damn, good one, Levinson. And Jian Kun, how about you? Right, you mean you are literally almost 4 to 5 times longer in the industry as compared to Levinson. you know, you are old bird, 老教 they call it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm very young.
hey, guys, just for fun, make a guess how old is Zack this year?
Hey, how young? Walao,
Okay, how young? What guess his age? That's the chat box. Make a guess. Make a guess. 27, 23. Wow. Any other guesses? 29, 28, 30. Wow, Elvis. Where's Elvis? Wow, 30. This guy. Okay, steady. Okay. Jengun is what? 27 this year. Yeah, 27.
Yeah.
Okay lah. So
Yeah.
you plus minus around age. Okay, brilliant. Okay. So Jengun, how about you though? In terms of like the stigma, right? How did it, because you're here longer, how did it start affected you at the start? And how did that change along the way as you journey in this entire advisory industry?
So for this one, I would say because the stigma hit me the worst during 2017. So I was back there 1 year plus okay. So to bring it back all the way to the start in 2016, I just joined for fun, joining out for the the money. Last time people say, hey, you take paper can get money. Oh, okay. First time see like study can get money. Yeah, and that's how I actually entered. And 2017, I was very, very, very lost. Because I realized whatever that I study is not what I want. And after that, subsequently, is that yet I want to actually try out this industry. But yet at the same time, when I approach people, right, number one is that okay, so you will approach your friends, and they'll be like, hey, wow, you join the insurance, hey, 不要来找我嘞. This kind of thing. I believe a lot of you have gone through this. So it definitely affected me myself a lot, and I really have no idea how to actually get it out. Until actually this turning point was that I came across a few of these clients, which I would say is the first few clients that actually give me the opportunity. So when I actually go through the portfolio, okay, it's like 40 plus years old, 50 plus years old, then you realize that they are like naked clients, I mean, like not literally naked but their portfolio is like naked okay. Then you try to recommend something for them, okay? You try to recommend something for them. Easily also 200-300 块, even though the coverage is like what, 50,000, 100,000. Yeah. And that's where you realize that, where I realized that it's really very important that we need to get people educated right at the start when they are young, because when they buy into it when they are younger, right, they can actually get it at cheaper rate. And subsequently, there were a lot of them that actually go through it and say that, hey, hey, thanks for actually educating me and whatnot. And last but not least, I would say it's more of personal reasons also. Yeah, because my mom was a insurance, I said she benefited from the insurance. Yeah, so basically she had early stage breast cancer, and there was a payout of like 80,000 and stuff like that. So I didn't come from a well-to-do family, and this 80,000 really helped my family tide through in terms of education and whatnot. And to go to the point of like how do I actually overcome the stigma or stuff like this, I start to focus more on like, there will be people that are not willing to hear it, but there are people that really, really, really needs it and needs to hear what you have to say. So you focus on those that you really want to help, and that's how I actually got it through.
Right. Okay, this is brilliant. Then I just curious, right? Because you see, as everybody knows, because nowadays, especially once COVID hit last year, it actually affected quite a few of us, advisors and other industries alike. And I just want to direct this question to Levinson, because at a point in time, when circuit breaker was in April and all that stuff, you were barely 3 to 4 months in the industry.
Yeah.
Right. What were some of the thoughts that you had in your mind? Given that circuit breaker came in, you cannot go out, and all that stuff, and you just joined the industry, right? What were some of the thoughts that you had, and how do you, thought of like navigate through this entire crisis for yourself?
You all know the exact words. I was thinking like, 好赶了, just sign out. 差不多了，可以走了。Can go already, soon already. That was really my exact thought. Like, during, I think I met you before circuit breaker, right? Okay, honestly, if I never met you, right, before circuit breaker, right, I think May or June I saw already. I confirm leave the industry, like, because at that point of time is like, I feel like, wow, 真的, there's no way of doing this anymore. You cannot meet face to face. You cannot do sales. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. Then at a point of time, I just start some more. So everything was looking very blink. Like I got no client pool, no whatsoever, to even practice my sort of like sales pitch then and all that. So at that point of time, I was really very close to giving up. I was really very close. Then, but luckily, like my wife was very supportive lah. And at the same time, I always had this thought. When my mom went to ICU, that was the lowest point of my life. When my mom tell me like, "Who are you?" Like she totally forgot who am I, because of the brain virus. So when I hear that sentence, it was at the lowest point of my life. Then I realized that I will never ever go, any lower than that. So, it's do or die. So why not I just try to tahan the whole year and then see what this guy Ben can show me. Like that lor.
Okay. Wow. So when I'm just curious, when you met me and all that stuff, right? How much do you have left in your bank account?
Wow, I think like 4,000. 2 to 4,000. It was around that range. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was very bad.
Wow. Guys, who thinks is quite a huge thing? Someone that is left with 2 to 4K to now earning more than 100 over 1,000. Anybody can see how amazing this is. Okay. But here, maybe you can share with the rest of the audience, Levinson. Like, if I think some of us, I mentioned, right, some of the advisors here, even myself, like that, if I were in circuit breaker, it affects the business. What would you tell someone who is struggling during this entire circuit breaker or COVID-19 saga or episode?
What I will tell them, honestly, I'll just tell them there's no harm, just keep trying and trying until you get it. Like really, like that was my whole thought during circuit breaker. Like even if I were to, my thought was like, even if I were to like meet, like 100 or maybe 1,000 prospects and not even close one, right? Then I will just keep going until I'm able to, meet 100 prospects and then close 100 prospects. That was always my thinking. Yeah. I think that with that mindset itself, I think it's more than enough, because we are doing sales. Like there's no saying what's gonna happen, in few months later or whatsoever. Like a lot of things can happen, and you are in full control of how you want to live your life and how you want your business to go. It's just whether or not, did you consistently keep doing whatever you need to do during that period of time.
Right. Okay, this is amazing, guys. And I just want to check, at this point in time, does anyone have one question that you think I can ask Levinson or even Jian Kun about their struggles? Does anyone have any question that you can just type in the chat box right now? I think we do it better rather than keep it at the end. I think very boring to keep the Q&A at the end. Anyone got any questions? Want to ask them right now? I'll pick a couple and then we can ask them on the spot based on whatever you hear. Anyone? Come. It don't make me the what do you call it? The auction. Going once, going twice. Come, anyone have or not? Any questions that you want to ask them with regards to struggles or I don't know, some mindset stuff and anything else? Anyone? Right. Okay. So Terence have a question. And I'll address to both of you. Okay. So Terence asking, how do you guys look for leads when you first started off? And that's always the most difficult, right? Especially if you first started. How do you look for leads at the start? I don't
Wait,
know.
who are you asking first?
Both of you. Okay,
You need
come.
to be
Levinson.
you need to be
Okay,
very
okay, okay.
exact.
Zheng Kun. I'm the student advisor. So how do you first look for leads at the start?
I must say that you really there's no easy way out. There's really no easy way out. You really have to go through the rejections. Yeah, because first of all, right, is that okay, so for me, when I started like sort of like 2017 and stuff like that, and I did say okay, so some background, I'm a person that's like pure one market one. Pure one market. I don't do cold market. I don't do cold calling. I don't do street prospecting or whatsoever they call it lah. Yeah. So I just do straight away call my friends off. I call my friends. I do a lot of the funny stuff. Like for example, I just like just call them. Hey, what are you doing? Hey. Then after that, they will start to ask you like, hey, why you suddenly call me? So random. Like I never talked to you 2 to 3 years. Then after suddenly you start to call me or something like that. And so I say,卖你保险咯. I just
really say that.
I just say straight out.
You literally say you tell them like sell them insurance.
I just卖保险啦，再来卖你保险啦，怎么你怕我啊？ Yeah, you know, like at the start, I did try a few calls. Then I said like, I tried the very proper way, like no, so you got do this or do that. It didn't work out lah. So it's like oh, they won't reject you nicely and stuff like that. Then now that's where I start to think about like, hey, let's try something different. Like instead of like letting them have so much gut against me, right? I just straight away say, hey, no, I 卖保险啊，这么你怕我咩？你不会吃掉你 and stuff like that. Yeah. So so I started off that way. And you really have to go by the law of large numbers, number one. Then once you encounter enough rejections and whatnot, am I still in?
Yeah, you're still in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So once I encounter enough, I think slowly you will know like what works, what doesn't work. Like for example, I know that some people, they don't like it so casual. Like they feel that you are handling money, you better be serious about it. Then next you handle those people like, oh, they rather you be so casual about it. Yeah. So slowly you get to know which is your kind of market, and from there on you start to tweak and you transform in terms of business law. Yeah. So to answer your question of how I find leads at the start, I really call my friends off. And I do use all the contacts, what IG. Now we can use IG. Previously, it's just scroll through the contacts and call. Now I think it would be better if we actually use IG.
Brilliant, right? Levinson, any thoughts on that? Because yours is happening during the circuit breaker. So yours also different, right? In terms of context. So how the hell do you get leads at the start, and all the other things?
I think more or less same lah, Zheng Kun. I think more or less same lah. Also IG lah. But okay, but when I think about getting leads, right, I think I will always like, you got mouth, then you will get leads. Simple as that. You have friends, then you will have leads.
Wait.
Huh?
You just say if you got a mouth means you have leads.
Yeah, you just need to ask what. Honestly, you just need to ask what. I got ever closed case, right? I go smoking corner, like Orchard, smoking corner, like strangers. I just talk to them. I don't care. I just talk. Then in the lift, like my office, right? Like the strangers come into a lift, right, or whatsoever, I also just talk to them. Then like as time goes on, you get used to talking to strangers, right? Okay, for me, I see everybody as a sort of like a lead. Like anyone I know or anyone I'm gonna know in the future or whatsoever. Yeah, that is how I see it. I mean, like it's not like, oh, I meet you, I want to close you. No. It's not that kind. It's like sort of like, oh, okay, I know you now, so maybe in the future we will have a chance to do business, but maybe not right now. Like, we need sort of like interact, you need to get to know me and whatsoever, build that trust whatsoever, and then go on. So okay, basically as easy as like, for me, prospecting is, I will just try to know as much people as I can, and then try to build a relationship from there, and then after that, right, see what happens next lah. So basically for me is I will talk to strangers or whatsoever, and then ask to follow me on IG or whatsoever, and then let them see my content. So that's my marketing. So at least my marketing doesn't just go to my warm market, which is the people that know me and I know them. So it's strangers as well, and then it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So to me, I always think like as long as I'm socializing, and as long as I'm not afraid to talk about insurance, right, then I will have leads. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting the message out lah, in a way lah. Getting the message out like, hey, I'm selling insurance. You want or you don't want? I can't know. Like that lor. Yeah, but I think still lah, the strongest one is still IG lah. IG is
Actually, I want to
it's
add
still
on
on the main.
this. Yeah, actually, I want to add on this is like just now I think Levinson say like some like wise words, like you got mouth means you will have leads.
Yeah.
Now I think it's actually very wise. No, legit. I must say it's really, really wise because, right, frankly speaking, whether you can get leads or not is about whether you dare to ask or not. Yeah.
Correct.
And many a times we don't ask is because we are scared of that rejection. And the reason why we are scared of that rejection, right, is because, we just feel that we are not value-adding people lah. And actually we are like, we are subjected to society to think like, hey, you must be conster like that, you must be financial consultant.
Yeah.
So
it's like uncommon law but it's like, okay, it's like when your friend know you are agent, right, they will say you, they will tell you, they make fun of you. But then as time goes on, then you start to realize, they are asking you for advice. Because they know you, because they know you, so they trust you, so they're gonna ask you, correct? So I'm just repeating that process. But you just imagine if like, although I have friends that maybe want to buy from me, want to buy from me, but don't know what is it that I do, or don't know like how much knowledge I have, to even try to ask me or whatsoever to even buy from me, right? Then I'm losing out so much over there.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Brilliant. So guys, hopefully those are listening. I would like also summarize and draw a couple of points from what Levinson and Jian Kun said, so that you guys can apply as well. So number one, you realize that both of them, although right from the start, and this is for Terrence, right from the start, they don't have like any social media strategy, to go about all these things. It's really raw asking and all that things, right? But I think behind all these, there is one big principle that both of them have and apply, which is to put yourself out there. You realize whether is it Jian Kun calling friend, right, and telling people about insurance or all that stuff, right? It's about putting himself out there. You look at Levinson, talk to uncle, auntie, I don't know, Xiao Mimi, everybody he also talk. Smoking point also talk. So you realize the underlying principle. I hope you guys can pick this out. The underlying principle, right, is about putting yourself out there. Makes sense, right? Because this is the question to ask ourselves is this, guys. If today, if we are the best financial advisor, we do the best planning, does it really matter if nobody knows about us? Does it really matter? You ask yourself this. We can be the best financial planner, but if nobody knows about us, does it really matter? Doesn't, right? So, and this is one big energy, and I always share with people, right? And I want you guys to participate in this. Can I just check? Everybody knows bread talk, right? Everybody knows bread talk, okay? What is the main difference between bread talk and a normal bakery store down your neighborhood? Come guys, type inside the chat box. I want to hear your answers. What is the difference between bread talk and a normal bakery store down your neighborhood? Bread talk more atas, branding. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? What do you think is the difference? Visible, locations, good. Concept, great. Right? Can I just ask you all also another question? Do you think who over here thinks that Bread Talk's bread is significantly better than a normal bakery store? Like significantly, like if you don't eat Bread Talk bread, you will die one. Kind of thing. Like Bread Talk is the best. Who here thinks that's okay? Type in the box. Like, does anybody here thinks that is really, really damn fantastic? Bread all tastes the same, no difference. The bread can talk. I hope nobody here got Bread Talk share. Okay, nobody bought their shares. Okay, okay, but you realize, right? It is not so much about the product itself, right? You see, people, you don't really hear a lot of people say that bread talk spread is like them super amazing and all that stuff. It's not so much about the product, right? But rather, if you realize bread talk put themselves in all kind of location, every other shopping mall you can see a bread talk, and this is also the reason why, at this point in time in this Zoom call, when I use the word bread talk, everybody recognizes it, right? So it's not so much about the product itself. Now, that being said, I'm not saying that you go out and anyhow sell or anyhow do your financial planning. However, you might want to prioritize yours, putting yourself out there in terms of marketing, whether it's social media or calling people or whatever is out there over the product, which is like, the things that you sell. Okay, make sense? Does this make sense to everybody? Yes, right? Because one of the things I get a lot of, I see a lot of advisors especially when Levinson and Jianhun and some of us we first started, right? Everybody thinks that we are in the financial planning business. Everybody thinks we're a financial planning business because we are financial advisors, right? But the real truth, and these guys, this is something you guys need to write it down. The real truth is that you're not in the financial planning business. The real truth, everyone here who's an advisor, you're in the business of selling your financial planning services. Let me repeat, you are not in the financial planning business. You are in the business of selling financial planning services. Because it goes back to the same thing, right? If today you don't, you can't sell your services, you can't sell yourself, nobody's going to buy. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like that, right? We are kind of like the brand, right? You see, if a baker wants to sell more bread, he don't improve the bread or bake more bread. He try to sell the bread. Makes sense if you want more sales, right? So same thing with financial advisors, right? Instead of always constantly upgrading yourself, which I believe is important at appropriate times, the first thing you want to get to survive is to always market yourself. Okay, so that's something that I want to point out that both of them mention and see. Okay, but so far everybody on understands what we are talking about. Useful? Yes. Yes. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. So now next, let's go along with a few questions. Okay, I got this question that I really very curious, and I think this is something maybe most of us can resonate. What is the okay? And this is to Levinson. What is the worst prospect that you have ever faced?
Wow.
The worst.
Worst okay. Wow, I don't know where to start. I think the worst is I think you were there like, remember when I closed my very first big case, single premium 300,000 all that. Yeah, I think that was the worst. Like that really was the worst. Like every night harassments, I cannot tahan. Like, okay,
What happened?
so basically that person, right, he got into an accident, so he was disabled for life. Then he cannot work and whatsoever. So he have a payout of 300,000 from insurance. Then after that, right, my friend, which is his cousin, refer me to him, saying that maybe I could be able to help him through investment, like passive income or something and all that. And then I was like, cool, okay, let's meet up and then let's see what we can do. So apparently with 300,000, his dividend, right, from a fund itself every month, right, is around 2.3 thousand. Dividends only Dividends, right, is 2.3 thousand every month. That's as good as you just put the money there and then you know to work like for life. Like even if I count out, right, you put the money there 10 years, right, you earn back another 300,000. You got nothing to lose like at all. So, and then the best part about all that is there is no lockdown at all. There is like literally no lockdown. So means you put the money in, right, you put in 300,000, you take out 300,000. As simple as that. Then because I was afraid that him being disabled, he might need liquidity in cash also. So I really went through my diligence to look for like the product that suit him best. So I found this product. Then so we talked over Zoom, because the time was circuit breaker. So we talked over Zoom like 2 to 3 times. Then after that, finally, like layang all that. Then after that, he finally agreed. He agreed already. Then after that, the case closed already. So let's say, for example, 2 days ago, it closed, it enforced, everything all done through, all passed already. He's just waiting to get dividend only. He called me every night at 11 p.m. Hey bro, I saw the investment fund drop by 1 cent. How I'm like, bro, 1 cent like I calculate the whole 1 cent, right? It was like $200. At most $200. Then I say, your dividend is gonna cover back like no matter what. And the best part is like the fund itself will do better, as it progresses, ma.
So
Like
what
I
happened?
did
So he
I did
called
do
you
my
and
research, everything. Then he keep calling, Like then because that time like circuit breaker ma, then after that, the COVID situation is still there. So the whole investment market, the whole equity market was in peril. Like everywhere will drop a bit, drop a bit, drop a bit, drop a bit. Then after that, he called me every night, really every night, 11 p.m. He called until I fed up, right? I tell him, bro, I don't think we can do business together anymore. I think this is not working out. I think you should free look. Then I tell him that you should free look. Then okay. At first, right, he suggested he wanted to free look because another agent was poisoning him, like saying that this plan no good for you, blah blah blah. And then I found out it was another Manulife agent.
Hey, wait. Anyone experienced this before? You have a client or prospect, and then some other agent come and cut your prospect. Anyone type yes if you have that inside the chat box. So any other agent cut your prospect. Have Walao.
Yeah, then like I'm still new in the industry, so I never thought that this thing will happen. Then I was very happy lah. Then like, oh okay, I closed my first big case. Yay, very good. No, blah blah blah. But the comms from there is not very high because insurance product, our comm is go by the amount of the years of lockdown. So when that shit have no lockdown, right, my comms was like I think 0.5%. So it's like 1,005 out of 300,000. Then after that, this agent out of nowhere keep telling him that my comp from this very high, the fund not good, blah 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 blah. Then he just repeat whatever the agent say to me through the phone. So every night he repeat the same thing. I cannot take it anymore. I tell him to free look. I cannot take it anymore. I tell him to free look. I say, hey bro, money I return you lah. Please you don't call me anymore. Don't call me every night. Can or not? I going key already. Just go. Then I just let him free look the whole thing or whatsoever. Basically link copy with with my manager a bit. Then after that, everything settled. Yeah, I think that was the worst. I think he called me every night, like really like 4-5 days straight. I really have no peace of mind. Like he got me worrying about everything. Like really, he just never make things easier for me. Yeah, I think that was the worst. That was really the worst. That was the worst case ever. Really the worst.
Guys, just share with you something. I just want to ask, if today, if you are in Levinson's, if all of you are in Levinson's shoes today, and you have 300K premium that goes in, and let's assume the comms, okay, instead of 1.5K, is actually 5K. How many of you will continue to take this customer? How many will continue to take this customer? If the comms is 5K and you are, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months inside the industry only, 5K. Who will want to take this continue to take this client? Or how many of you will ask him or her to get out? Come, anyone inside the chat box. I just want to know your thoughts. Wow, easy. I'll still do it. Okay, come. No right or wrong. No right or wrong. I just wanted to see. Must hear his voice. YOLO. I was going to say, I don't want to if the customer doesn't believe me, hit pains. Yeah. Okay, so Levinson have that worst prospect. Okay, so Jian Kun, my question for you is this what is the what is the most ridiculous objection that any prospect has given you? The most ridiculous one. You listen already, you'll be like, what the heck kind of reaction? And what's the objection that you had? You listen already, you also like 傻掉.
Actually I have quite a few there. I don't know which is yeah, I mean, okay, so basically it's about like okay, so I'm more of a person that do endowment than investment lah. So this person say, oh yeah, I want something safe. Yeah, I want something safe, but I want high returns.
That itself is
yeah.
okay.
I want something safe. I want high returns. Then I was like, okay. Like when it comes to all this kind of thing, right? It's like got the tree triangle or something like that, ma. So it's like one is like the premium must like either the premium is high, okay. If not, the return is low, or if the risk is high or something like that. So basically, he everything also he want the premium to be low, he want the risk to be low, and the returns to be high. Then the worst part is that then after I said that then he asked, is there anything that like capital guaranteed one? I say, you want capital guaranteed, then you can't be looking at something that's investment, ma, because there's no capital guarantee in investment unless you die lah. You die, then it's capital guaranteed, ma. Yeah. But the person I recommend endowment, and the person just say that, oh no, the returns too low already. Got investment that got capital guarantee. Then I just like, wow. So I go there to圈with that person. We went for the appointment. I little okay. So previously I was quite new lah. Then after that I have to open like 3 plans. Then most of the time we don't like we'll go through the gist of the what's it called, the BI ma, the benefit illustration. Wow, this guy really scrutinize it like go page by page, sentence by sentence, and we just go through that and sit there for 3-4 hours. Yeah. And obviously, the outcome is it didn't end up in the closure lah. Obviously, it didn't.
Wow. Hey, anyone got? Hey, I'm just curious for the audience and those watching. I'm just curious. Can you share with us over here? What is that one objection that you or a comment that you hear from a prospect or client that's the most ridiculous that you have in your advisory? Can you all share inside the chat box so that we see whether Levinson and Zheng Kun are the only ones that have the worst kind of clients or prospect. Anyone got any ridiculous objection that you guys encounter? You can type inside the chat box if you guys have it. Nobody? Gail got anything or not, Gail? You look like the kind like people will desell you. You got anything or not? Got any ridiculous? Well, you look younger than my daughter. Walao. My baby still young, no need insurance. When he older, then buy himself. Walao.
So how the baby 很辛苦 also his baby very shag.
Right, they don't trust me. Walao. Okay.
Kena born, no ask permission, born already, then don't want buy this kind of thing for him.
Oh yeah, my husband don't let me buy. Walao. Okay. Ridiculous. Oh my god, you all see maybes in the chat box. This plan's return is $23 lesser than the other plan I'm looking at. Walao. Wow, James, that one that one you got ask or not? His dog got buy insurance or not? Walao, dog passed away, cancer meeting. You serious? But guys, okay, so can we agree? Do we agree that in our line of work, we face a lot of last minute cancellation and a ton of ridiculous excuses, okay, that they do to cancel meetings and all that stuff. So I just want to share with all of you over here. Okay, one small thing that could really help and change the way you preframe your clients, right? And it's this thing called qualification. Okay, now most people think that in sales, the most important thing is, not to be pushy, is to use the best objection handling technique, and all their things. But the truth is, the most important one is this thing called qualification. Now, what is qualification? Qualification, as the term suggests, is basically you have certain criteria that qualifies the kind of prospects that you want to have. Okay, now I understand. So it sounds something like this, right? it sounds something like, hey, Mr. Prospect or whatever it is, let's say you meet the prospect, right? And then you say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, today, I'm going to have this meeting and all the other things, right? And, I just want to ask whether is this a good, is it appropriate for you by asking a few questions, okay? Number one, are you someone that, for example, believes in returns or believes in investment in the long run? Or are you somebody that is open-minded, right? So we ask questions like this because you know why? So it's something like this. So are you open-minded, right? Because if you are, then I think we can carry on with this conversation. If you are not, then it might not be a right fit because most of the time, people that are very close-minded, usually we tend not to work together. Makes sense, right? And here's the beauty of this question. When you ask, are they open-minded? Okay, let me do a poll, okay? How many of you over here are open-minded? How many of you think that you guys are open-minded? Type in the chat box. Yes, if it's you. If it's you type yes. How many of you think you guys are open-minded? Yes. You see, here's the beauty of this question. It's very hard for them to say no. Makes sense? Very hard for them to say so. Do you think you're an open-minded person? No. Nobody will say that, okay? Even a stranger, they usually say yes, right? Now, but why do you say that? Because why do you ask this question? Because when you ask qualifying questions, you make them feel like you have standards in the type of people that you work with. And when you do that, you by itself, you position yourself a little bit higher than the prospect. You think about it. You think about all your university, those Oxford, Stanford, I don't know, Harvard University, whatever it is, usually have a lot of requirements, correct or not? Must be straight A, must be this, that, so on and so forth. By putting out those qualifications out there, you repel people that are not straight A's. And you need to attract people that are straight A's. Makes sense? So likewise, when you ask them, hey, are you open-minded? The first thing is, are you open-minded? If you're and the reason why I ask that, you so always give a reason. Hey, are you open-minded? If you are, the reason I ask is because usually when I talk about certain concepts that some of my prospects or clients might not hear before, if they're not open-minded, if they're open-minded or whatever it is, they tend to accept that a little better and understand that. But if today you're close-minded, then today might not be for you because I'll be sharing some concepts which you might not have heard of before. Okay, now some of you might think that this sentence, this question, no big deal. But here's the thing, guys. If the prospect is close-minded, do you think, how many of you think you can sell to a very close-minded prospect? Time in the chat before. How many of you think you can sell to a very freaking close-minded prospect? Cannot. So if cannot, then why waste your next 2 appointments trying to close this person and then waste another 5 more hours trying to follow up? Makes sense? So this is by far the most important thing. I was an advisor before. I did my MDRT. I used to think that, it's sales. Must be smooth. Must think of all the objection handling. Sanjay Tonani, my favorite mentor last time. Okay, all the big case closing and objection handling, right? I love the guy, right? It's all about this, correct or not? But why don't you qualify them first and pre-frame them before even talking about all this, right? Because if they're already open-minded and they say yes, they're open-minded, this means you have lesser objections at the end, right? Because they're open-minded. So why don't we prevent it before handling their objection? Makes sense. Okay. Useful so far, you guys? Just this part of qualification? Yes. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. So guys, I hope you guys are enjoying. Are you guys enjoying this segment? Like where we do ask questions and I add in a bit and share a little bit of things. If yes, can you type in the chat box so that I can feel good and that this session is giving you guys value. This is the awkward moment. I ask anyone to put yes. Bolang put yes. Please. Okay, great. Okay, brilliant. Good. Okay, hope you guys are enjoying. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Okay. So I know it's only 9 o'clock. Okay, we're gonna end in probably 20-30 minutes. And then please ask your questions. Okay, we'll come to that. So Jian Kun, I just want to ask you if today you restarted from scratch. You're 5 years in the industry. If today you restarted from scratch, joining the industry again, what would you have done differently?
Wow. Actually, differently, I think the most important point, right, is that I wish I am having it more manifested as of now as compared to the past. So in the past, I always try to be someone else. Like for example, every time like your mentor or your whosoever, someone that is doing better than you, at that point in time, tell you, hey, you should do this, you should do that. You shouldn't be acting like this, and that's whereby you start to follow their way of thinking and stuff like that. So like when we follow, I think when we started off, right, we definitely follow a lot of other agents, so we see that, hey, yeah, they do this. I think this must be successful. They do that must be successful. But that is not what the kind of style that you're going for. So if I were to say that how I would restart, right, is that I would just be myself right from the start. Like, 怎么办 will not come today. It won't be like last year that I started 怎么办. I would have probably started 怎么办 like right from the start. Yeah, because the real me is that I am that kind of like the jovial person. So I have and when it comes to financial planning, I'm still serious about it lah. So initially I keep thinking that, hey, as a financial consultant, you must be serious, but I don't think so lah. You can still have the jovial self of you, but when it comes to planning for your client, you be serious about it lor. Yeah. Then number 2 is that, of course, I think I will put myself more out there lah, instead of like trying to shine myself. Like, in the past, I would be like, hey, no lah, I try not to say that I'm an insurance agent and stuff like that. But now I don't care. I will just like blatantly say, oh, where am I policy? Yeah, and stuff like that lah. So I will start to be more of myself and just don't really care too much about the noise out there lah. Yeah.
Wow, that is brilliant, guys. Do you guys hear that? Because that's some powerful thing. Someone is 5 years in the industry, and the thing that he said he will do differently, it's not so much about conducting a different strategy to do sales or to get leads. It is about being authentic. That's the key. Being authentic, being your true self, right? And I just want to ask, does anyone here have ever felt, right, that you are not good enough? Anyone? Type inside the chat box if that's you. Not good enough. You felt like, wow, other people do better than me. Or why in the team meeting, your team meeting, all your other team member top 5 production, but you macam at the bottom. Have you ever felt that before? And then you feel like, hey, you're not good enough, all that things, right? And I like your James. I see James comment. Cannot find my name from the list. It happens. Okay, damn funny, y'all. I love y'all, man. Okay, so I just want to share this, and this is happening even in my own community, or when I speak to advisors, right? The biggest thing is that they always feel like they are not good enough, right? They have been, i.e., they have insecurities, in short, right? And I just want to confirm this. From a scale of 1 to 10, how will you rate yourself as a person? From a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're perfect, that's a human with your flaws and all that stuff, and 1 means you're garbage. How will you rate yourself, guys? Come type in chat box. I want to know this. How would you rate yourself? Come type in chat box. 9.5. Kenny is a 10. Okay. What else? Who else? Come. Be honest. Be honest. Be honest. You can be 5. You can be 6. You can be 7 or whatever it is. Just be honest. How will you really rate yourself? 7. Gil, I'm waiting for your answer, Gil. I know you're laughing, and after you never type the answer. 8, 7. Okay. So, guys, my question here is this. For those that are not a 10 out of 10, or don't feel like you're a 10 out of 10, and you think, you feel like you're 7, 6, or even a 5 out of 10, right? Then the question to ask ourselves is this. If you view yourself as a 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, why would your prospect, or rather would your prospect, buy from an agent or advisor that is a 6 out of 10 advisor or 7 out of 10 advisor? Why would they buy? You see, guys, today you all go Taobao. Okay, you buy something, you buy umbrella, $2, cheap. Okay, even if it's a cheap $2 umbrella, how many of you will still expect it in a 10 out of 10 condition? that is still at least workable and good? Yes, right? Even though it's cheap. Will you accept a 2 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 condition where the umbrella, half of the I don't know, the material gone? you open, you can imagine you open, only half, cover half for you. You probably wouldn't want that, even though the umbrella is only worth $2. So likewise, ask yourself this question, right? Why would your prospect buy from somebody that is a 6 out of 10 as a person or as an advisor if you see yourself as that? Now, and let me clarify this, okay? Being a 10 out of 10 is not to say that you are the best advisor or you are the TOT or you're Sanjay Tolani. No, that's not what it means. Being a 10 out of 10 or looking yourself as 10 out of 10, right, as a person means that you accept yourself fully as a human being, as an advisor, with flaws, with imperfections, and all the things that you are not good at. That's what it means to see yourself as 10 out of 10, to accept yourself fully. Okay? Now, again, like I mentioned, 10 out of 10, okay, it's very important to be a 10 out of 10 because, and don't exceed 10 out of 10, okay? Because if you're 10 out of 10 means you're confident of who you are and accept yourself, which is what Zack is saying. Be authentic, be yourself. Don't be other people. But don't ever be 11 out of 10. You know why or not? Because you're 11 out of 10, means you're arrogant. Okay? Nobody thinks yourself at 11 out of 10. Okay? Be a 10 out of 10. Cool? Okay? So something for you guys to ponder about. Because this is something that I realize is one of the biggest key thing that's holding a lot of advisors back, right, from conducting their sales presentation or even reaching out to prospects. Because the moment you feel that you're not good enough as a person, you won't want to show up. Makes sense, right? You won't want to show up. Why would you want to show yourself who have so much insecurities to a prospect, to a stranger, right? Okay, so something for you guys to ponder about. And who here is a manager? I know Neil's iPad. Neil's iPad is a Dion is a manager. Anyone here is a manager or in management? Yes? No? Okay, if management, you can Henry. Okay, great. You can share. You really look back at some of your advisors. Okay. Sometimes it's sales, yes, it's leads, but you touch hard. You look at them, they really that confident and really that steady, really out there and say that, hey, I'm market. Probably not. And if you really dig lower a bit, you really dig all the way deeper, it's because they have all these insecurities inside. Okay. So something for you can maybe share with them this. I hope it's useful. Okay. Something that I wish I've learned back then as a manager to share with my team. But unfortunately, I was the young punk. So I didn't. Okay. But anyway, by the way, that's a good sharing, Chen Kun. I hope you guys are finding useful. Okay, Levinson. Okay, last question before we go Q&A for the audience. I think
okay.
I see their face are all dying to ask questions. Gil is like, when can Ben shut up so I can ask questions? Henry is like, wow, Ben talk so long, I need my dinner. Okay, I'm kidding. Okay, so Levinson. Okay. I want to ask you this question. And I think this is what everybody might want to know also, which is what is the top 3 factors to your success?
Top 3 factor.
You came from, you see, and the reason I ask the question is very simple. For context, people. Levinson, in April, right, he has what, I don't know, 5K, 6K FYC, plus minus. He had some more earnings after a few months, but he almost went back to be a FoodPanda delivery rider, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Almost went to FoodPanda, guys, because he need to pay bills. Okay. Can you imagine? You go back FoodPanda until 1 year later, you probably won't even earn 100K. I don't know. I don't think you earn 100K as a FoodPanda.
A bit hard.
Okay. So what are some of the factors, right, that you think contributed to this success from someone who came from the lowest point in his life to almost quitting the industry, to someone right now that's dealing more than 6 figures kind of investment, returns, premiums, and things like that?
Wow, this one cheap, man.
You can Hokkien a bit. I think some guys over here okay.
Okay. I think more of people here know I don't really speak Angmo much lah. Normally I talk to my client all like Hokkien, Chinese, English one So okay, I feel a bit comfortable now. I'm not so nervous already. So I a bit. Okay. 3 factor. Wow. Okay, I won't say 3 factor. It was more like I gone through a very big change, and then at the same time, right, I realized that things are done very differently, right? For different advisors. Like you know all the Lao-Jia advisor, they all like some very successful, but the way they do things all very different one. It's not the same. All of them they do things different. Their financial planning method also different. Like for me, because I have two managers, so the way both of them do things, right, is like totally one A and one B. And then at that point of time, I also went fieldwork with them. Then after that, their sales method also different. It's really, like I said, like 1A, 1B. So then that's when I realized one thing. Having a script, having, your SOP or whatsoever, like during the sales process itself, the script, the framework, how you draw the thing, whatsoever, right? That is just one thing. So to me, how I see it is like, it's like you're sharpening a sword. You keep sharpening, you keep sharpening it. You have the skill to draw up all the framework. You got the skill to like just basically read through your script without even looking at it and all that, right? That is sharpening your sword. But how do you use that sword is another thing. Like, yeah, in that whole, like I see both what my managers did is that the way they brought the message out, right, was different, but they were comfortable with how they brought it out. And then they know how to, handle like whatever objection or whatever situation at that point of time because they were very comfortable at that point of time. And they were able to direct like sort of the direction of the to the closing lah, like in their liking. And then that's when I realized, okay, so maybe it's not about just copy and paste from that person itself, but of course learning experience from those from them is very, very important lah. But it's more like how do I use those experience and then create something for myself so that I will always be comfortable doing, what I want to do. And then I think that's the very first factor. Like it was changing myself and then at the same time finding something that I'm very, very comfortable with and then keep doing and keep doing and keep doing. If honestly, like I said, I don't speak Angmo. If I went through the very common way of how people say wear formal lah, like speak formally and whatsoever, I don't think I will be where I am today lah. Like honestly lah. If I do that right, then I will not be where I am today. I changed the whole process itself so that it is like what Chen Kun said, like is your personality and everything, is authenticity. Yeah. So I changed that. That was really the first factor. And that's where I start to see changes in my business because people like sort of are more open to share more things with me when I was like more authentic. And then I'm sharing more of my own personality. Yeah, that was the most important factor. I think the second factor was that I never say die. Yeah. Like really like what I mean by that is like if I have an idea to sort of like find leads, if I have an idea to sort of make my financial planning better whatsoever, right? I will just do it lah. I won't even think about it so much. I'll just do it. Then if I fail, then so be it. I'll just move on to the next idea. And then that's as simple as that. And if like I hit any hurdles or like I have obstacles or whatsoever, I mean like I can even ask you or even ask my managers or anyone in the 2XYC community itself to have like more perspective and all that. Yeah. So I think
Nice.
Yeah, from there I think I'm just in a very comfortable position to do what I want. And then the third thing is the third thing
You
third
can
thing
end with two. You don't need force. You authentic, right? You don't need to force out.
okay. Wow, okay, thank you. Wow, you know three things very hard. Wow, 我刚才讲话的时候在那边想 I thinking when I'm talking, like, wow, third thing I say what? Wow, third thing I cannot.
Yeah. So to recap, two of biggest contributing factors to Levinson's success. You guys can write it down. It's number one is you realize this recurring theme of being authentic and being yourself. You realize Chen Kun said that just now, and Levinson is again. And secondly, he also mentioned that it is always that never say die attitude. And it's not never say die in terms of like, don't give up. But rather it's more of like, every time you face a roadblock, instead of banging the fucking wall, go U-turn, detour, whatever it is to find ways over it or underneath or beside it. These two are the biggest things, right? And I think third one, which I think Levinson kind of like talked about it, but he didn't bring it up clearly, right, is sharpening your sword and applying, right, what other people's experiences and integrate into for your own. Yeah. Right. So these are the three things, guys. And I know for some of you, you guys might be disappointed that it's not so specific about sales strategies or how to get leads. But in my years of teaching, coaching, and interviewing advisors and all that stuff, right, it's rarely about the strategies. Strategies are a lot out there, right? My mentors back then, you know, how people look up to, like Eric Feng, Sanjay. Strategies are a lot out there, you know, a lot, right? Your managers are strategies, right? But it's about the principles and what guides you as a person or advisor. They'll bring you success. Okay, and more often than not, the things that will bring you success are the intangibles rather than the tangibles. Let me repeat. More often than not, what will give you success or bring you success are the intangibles rather than the tangibles. Tangibles are things like strategies. You go A, you turn left, you turn right. Intangibles are like what? How you see yourself, your mindset, your confidence, you know, how much of the difference you want to make for other people. Makes sense? Okay. So this is something that I want to deliver and help Levinson obviously clarify that a little bit better and then crystallize that a bit more. Yeah. Okay. Obviously, he Hokkien one. This guy Hokkien one.
Yeah, basically you sharpen the sword, but you don't know how to use the sword, you cannot fight, you also die. 你是跟人家 step 死一样. Just like that. Simple as that. The sword how sharp, you don't know how to use, you also die. Simple as that.
Okay. So can I before you go into Q&A, because I know some of you are dying to go into Q&A before it's a Friday night and end off. I just want to share one thing about the authenticity part. Okay. It's easy for Levinson and Jian Kun and us to say that we can be authentic. Right? It's easy to say. But then I think I just want to check, does any one of you have a question about how the hell to be authentic? Because there's a lot of other things, right? You fear, you scared people judge you, give you all kind of opinions and all that stuff. Right? And I'll share with you this, right? Being authentic, right, has a lot of fears to that. Because why? You're afraid that if you are really yourself, people will condemn you just because you're not kind of like what your clique of friends or your society, you know, kind of is like, right? And therefore you're afraid of the rejection, of people leaving you, of people not wanting to buy from you. But here's the true law, the universal law. When you repel, what happens? You also attract. Makes sense? And this is a law, right? What you repel, you also attract other things. So if you repel people that are not on the same frequency of liking your vibe or liking you as a person, that's perfectly fine because these people are not meant to be with you, right? However, if you look at attraction, you're going to attract people that's going to like you just like yourself. Okay? Now you think about it, guys. Over here, this is not your very nice interview. I got some fucking green screen here and then like very nice kind of talking. I'm talking it very rawly. And you look at Levinson, Jian Kun, all these people are very authentic. Makes sense or not, right? We just like say it as it is, right? And there are people, some of you might not like us, but some of you would, right? And I would suppose that some of you don't like, you'll probably leave the room already lah. Okay, so I'm guessing that most of you here kind of like, okay, you know, these people are not too bad, right? So it's about really being about authentic, right? Because the moment you're not authentic, you know what kind of condition will come out now, guys? Can you all guess, if today you guys are not authentic or being your true self, what do you think is one of the consequences? Anyone can guess. Everyone been through it. Anyone can guess. No? People say you fake. Fear, can't be trusted. Say bye-bye to business. You know, beyond all the tangible parts about making money and all the other things, right? You have this thing called imposter syndrome. You try to be someone else that you are not. You try to talk like somebody that you think is a big fuck. But actually, people know you scared people expose you inside. Makes sense? You have imposter syndrome, and that's the worst way to live your life. Makes sense? If you start to look at Levinson himself, Levinson and Jian Kun different. Okay, don't talk about looks. Don't talk about looks. Both equally handsome to me and to you guys. Okay, what are equally handsome? But I realize both of them are also funny, but in their own ways. Levinson is the modern Ah-Beng. Okay, Jian Kun is the sophisticated Ah-Beng. just saying, Jian Kun came from VJC and then NTU business. Okay. But he's like a joke like that. Okay. Like he's very funny. So everybody has their own appeal and their own kind of like authenticity. Okay. So I want everybody over here in this room to understand this. Every single one of you is unique. And what this means is when you realize that you're unique and you'll be attracting people that are just like yourself and repelling people that don't like you, you realize competition doesn't exist. If you understand the concept. If you only attract the people that is like yourself and you are unique and you repel people that don't like you, there's no such thing as competition. That makes sense. Because everybody is attracting their own crowd. You see? Right? Guys, let me ask you, you know Eric Feng, you know Sanjay. I think most of you know. Do you think Eric Feng, Sanjay, and I the same or not? Probably not. Probably not. Probably different in our own ways and all that stuff. And we attract different group of people. Right? So when you understand this, right, you really want to be authentic as much as possible. Right? Really be your true self, and most importantly, always be happy. Okay, so this is something I just want to end this off in terms of this segment. Okay, but let's go to Q&A right now. Okay, let's talk about Q&A. Okay, so very simple. You throw your questions inside. I will pick, if I can, I will answer all. I think Levinson, Jian Kun, you're good with it. Okay, you can ask me, you can ask Levinson, you can ask Jian Kun. Okay, so the way you ask questions very simple. Okay, put the person's name in front, who you want to ask the question to. Okay, then put your question at the back. Okay, so it could be Ben hyphen, how do you do this A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Okay, or whatever it is. Okay, come guys, this is your time to ask questions. Okay. Hey guys, please type in your questions. Hey, continue to type your questions. Okay, we'll address it. So Levinson,
that's the worst questions.
Ask you, how do you pitch in Hokkien?
What do you mean how I pitch in Hokkien? I just pitch Hokkien. I bui to bui la, my bui to swallow. I can't. But normally, okay, if I were to pitch investment, right, normally auntie will all like ask me, hey, but 会赚多少? Will earn how much? I will say, normally I'll just ask back, 来咕噜，你要赚多少? You want how much? You let me know first. Like that. Because in the investment, we all know risk appetite. You must be willing to lose 20-30% and then you can gain 20-30%. So that question is for me to frame the auntie, telling her that it's not how much I want or how much I can earn for you. It's how much you want. Then I can adjust accordingly to what like that portfolio itself. If you tell me you want to earn 10-20%, then auntie, sorry, 你要肯输 10-20%. Because I don't want one day later you open your account value,小弟这么输 why lose 10-20%? Then you panic and all that. But no investment is up and down confirm up and down. So when it goes down, you just wait for it to go up. Then like that okay. I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay. That was a bad question. I shouldn't have picked that question. Okay. But guys, I just want to pick something what Levinson said, and something for you guys to learn and apply also. Okay. You realize when the prospect asks questions like, how much can you earn for me? How much returns you think you can get? How much will I get back? You realize the trick is not to answer that question by saying what you can do. The trick is to ask the question back to the prospect and tai chi the ownership and responsibility back to the prospect. Makes sense, right? So that's why he asked, how much you want, right? How much you want instead? It depends on you rather than how much he can get back and all that stuff, because there's truth to that. So that's one thing to do. Ask your questions, ask your prospect questions. Okay.
What all means
Levinson, before circuit breaker to the 4K FA, what changed and why suddenly beast mode end with 84K?
Why suddenly beast mode? I think after circuit breaker, I literally like every day have activity to do. Like literally every day I will look through my contact and then just say, okay, out of these 150 contacts that I have, right? Friends are all friends. But like primary school friend, secondary school friend, poly friend, army mate, all that, I will text 10 of them this week. And then the next week another 10, then next week another 10, next week another 10. And then just continue on. Then after that, honestly, I don't know what happened on 2020 lah. So it was just literally like every week I do this certain amount of activities. I tell myself I need to do this, I do this, and then people ask to meet and all that, and then I just go for the appointment, then can close, I close, cannot close, then swallow. So when I was doing all this, right, honestly, I never look at my commission. I don't even know how much I earn at that point of time, like in like those months. I just keep doing and doing and doing because I don't want it to demoralize me. Like if I'm not doing so good this month, I don't want to demoralize. I just want to keep doing what I need to do. So I keep doing. Then, just one day out of nowhere during August, my manager just tell me, hey, you know MDRT or not? I'm like, huh? MDRT something like that lah. But I think it's not beast mode, but I think it's more like I when like you really just focus on doing like one thing, right? And then just not let other things distract you away from like this path itself, right? You will find where you want to be. But uh you know, like how to say it's just very fulfilling when it happens. To me is I'll just keep doing until it happens. Yeah. Uh, Basically that's how I'm gonna answer that question.
Yeah, good. In short,
I try.
in short, Levinson, what Levinson is saying is that focus on the processes and activities rather than outcome. Right? And this is an important concept. I know some of you have questions about it. I really want to put this point across because I think this can value add to you guys. Okay. Now, a lot of us always ask ourselves, I got no leads. I need leads. I need prospect. Everybody will say that. I don't have prospect, I don't have appointment. But I realize wanting leads, wanting appointments are actually an outcome. It's actually an outcome. So the analogy is this. Some of you, all of us went through school before. Out of 100 marks for your math test, you get 70. Or let's say you get 40. You get 40 marks out of 100. Right? Most logical thing to do is to find out how to increase your marks. What do you went wrong and what can you do more to get more marks? Most of you probably won't be asking, oh, how do I get 90 marks? I want 90 marks. I cannot get 90 marks. I want 90 marks. I cannot 90 marks. I don't know how to get 90 marks. You realize that you're focusing all on the outcome, which is the 90 marks, which is the MDRT, which is the goal and all that stuff. But the truth is, what you pay attention to, right, is where your energy is going to follow. Makes sense, right? You want more leads, then you shouldn't thinking of what the outcome are. You should think of what you need to do to get more leads. This is a very huge but very subtle difference. You have no idea how many people I talk to on calls and all that things. I ask them what's the problem. Lack of leads. Number one answer that they give, lack of leads. But here's the real truth, right? And if some of you have seen my advertisements, the first question I ask is, what if I tell you that leads are not the main problem in your business? Because the truth is leads are not the main problem. What you guys are lacking for those who don't have leads are the strategies and the activities needed to get these leads. You guys don't have a leads problem. You guys have a strategy or lack of activities problem. So if you focus on that, you will then get your outcome. Okay, if you are 100 kg, you don't tell me how I want 70 kg. Wow, I cannot lose weight. I cannot this and that. You probably focus on the running, focus on the diet and all the other things. So likewise over for you guys in a business or any business, right? This is really key. Huge but subtle difference. You guys understand so far? Yes. Okay. Great. Good. Hey, anyone got question for Jian Kun or not? He getting bored already. I don't want later he text me say that, hey bro, you wasting my time. Nobody will ask me question. Because he's also busy man. Anyone got any questions to Jian Kun? Because you look at Levinson. Levinson earns a fuckload of money. Right? He has his miracle happenings and effort and all that stuff. But that being said, in Chinese, 姜还是老的辣. So you still have more senior people that have seen more things, that experience more things. Make sense? Right. Okay. So now, any questions that you have for Jian Kun? Please ask the senior this. It's very rare. You know why? It's very rare to see the 5-year, 7-year, 8-year kind of advisor. Because it's either, most of them, you either find a 2-3-year-old advisor or you find somebody that is more than 15 years in the advisor industry. Okay, anyone want to ask questions for Jian Kun? Jian Kun, after you did the IG video, okay. So, Kenny, can you post Jian Kun's username on Instagram? By the way, guys, I would suggest to follow Levinson and Jian Kun. Follow me also if you haven't followed me yet. Okay, on Instagram. And the reason is because I want you guys to don't put my one first. Put Jian Kun's one. I want them to go and see. You all go and see Jian Kun's. Go on IG. Type in the username inside, and then go and see his videos. Okay, take a glimpse at it. Okay, take a glimpse at it right now. Okay, yeah, it's going to blow your minds. What is Zeng KK WTO? Hey, Kenny, why do you fuck it up? Zeng JK _ WTO. Okay, guys, Zeng JK _ WTO. Okay, that's the correct one. Go and take a look. Okay, and his videos. Okay, so Jian Kun, let me ask the question. He is asking, after you did the IG videos and all that stuff, how much leads have you generated as compared to, do you find it more effective when it comes to your sales, conversion, and your leads as compared to just posting infographic content?
Actually, okay, I'll be very, very honest with you guys, right? Is that if you are looking at generating videos or like generating infographics or whatsoever, right? And next moment you expect leads to come in, right? It's like your prospect put it into investment and ask you, hey, next day, hey, the investment go how high already? I think we are behaving the same lah. But why I actually post on all these IG video, all these things? Actually, they are more of like pre-framing material. Okay, sorry, I sometimes when I record the video, I also like touch it there. Okay, so yeah, so basically the whole point of this IG video, right, or even infographics or whatever post that you do, right, is more of to do a pre-framing, really to educate and really deliver value out there. Whether or not you will get leads is the eventual kind of thing. Because when you do infographics and you do video content, generally social media content, right? Number one, you get branding. Number two, right, is of course it shows what you shows that the professional side of you. Because if you don't put yourself out there, how will people know that you are better than the other agents or like you are the best in this field or whatsoever? So you definitely have to put yourself out there. And number three is of course the personality part lah. Okay, why I choose IGTV, why I choose video instead of infographic. Maybe one of the reasons is because I suck at infographics. You see all my infographics very, very ugly. Okay, but the main reason, right, is that I feel that video is the one that can show my personality the most. Okay, I feel that that's the thing that can show like, okay, I'm the funny guy. Then after that, I feel that I can differentiate myself from the others. Because everyone else on earth, let's be very, very frank, ever since circuit breaker started, okay, at the start, no one posted infographics on there. Suddenly, the whole world start to post infographics. Then your prospect don't know whose infographics to actually look at already. So therefore, I choose video not because I want leads immediately, but it's more of branding, and through that, eventually the leads will come. And last but not least is actually when you do video, it's not so much on the cold leads. It's in fact re-enhancing this thing called offline mode. Yeah, that means your current your current existing customer, they'll be like, hey, yeah, that time you do the video, blah, blah, hey, wow, hey, what's up, 怎么办? All this kind of shit. Yeah, so that is what I call reinforcing, and yeah, I think that actually is what I'm actually looking out for at the current moment.
And just saying, obviously Jian Kun is very humble, not to brag about it. But not everywhere he goes, whether his friends or whatever it is, his friends when he went to a birthday party, his friends will ask me, hey, you're the 怎么办 guy, and then all their stuff. And then they will talk to him about it, and why is this important? Because this actually helps you to create conversations, you see. When you have conversations, this means there's always a chance or opportunity for appointments or whatever it is, right? And I think more importantly, you guys have no idea how many shares he has on each video. Typically, the number of shares and saves on this video, not about shares alone, it's about 20 plus every time he posts a video like this. 20 plus shares, just saying, okay, which is a lot, generally speaking, right? So the thing about all these videos, right, is also acts as what you call pre-framing content. Now, preframing just means this, right? It just means that your prospect knows you, trusts you, and everything else, right, before they even meet you in the first place. They kind of know what kind of person you are already, right? And all their stuff before they meet you. And why is this important? Because it's very simple. Just imagine, guys, I'm going to share this concept with all of you, okay? And I think this will benefit. Just imagine, this, okay, this is a scale, a line, okay? Whatever is a line. On this side, it's your hot, ready buyer. People are ready to buy your product or buy from you. On this side, okay, will be a cold prospect, don't know about you. So you think about it. If somebody is a cold prospect, don't know anything about you, never consumed your content before, have no idea they existed, when you meet them in real life, do you think it's more difficult or easy to close them or to convert them? Anyone? Cold prospect, don't know about you at all, never met you. It's probably more difficult, correct? And and all of you, those of you who went cold prospecting and cold appointment before, you realize you have to fight a lot during the appointment. You have to fight, overcome the objection, build rapport with them, and all their stuff, go for a few appointments before you can close, if you can close. However, if your prospects, this is called 7-hour rule. Meaning to say that it requires 7 hours of touch points or content consumption or from you, right? Such that if they become your hot, ready prospect or buyer. So if somebody watches 2 hours of your content, it moves them up the scale because they know your personality, they trust you more, they kind of like, figure out who you are as a person. So the more so if they consume 3 hours worth, when they meet you, you only need to so-called fight the 4 hours compared to fighting the entire 7 hours. Makes sense? So basically, the more you market yourself out there, the easier it is when it comes to the sale. And how to market is putting out this kind of content out there. Okay, so this is something for you to share, and why Jian Kun do it. Jian Kun, last question before I end off. How much time do you spend on these videos, and what is your thought process? Okay, let's answer these two. Just to end off.
What
is your thought process first?
Okay, so I think to answer the Terence one very, very quickly, how much time? Actually, I really spent very long. Okay, the first time I did my first video, I take about 8 hours. Okay, 2 hours to come out with the script, then script and also the ideation, and 1 to 2 hours to actually film, and another 4 hours to actually edit it. Yeah, then after you have to think of the caption, then you have to actually go and think about the photo, what you want to put inside. Yeah, and to answer Neo's iPad, okay. So for this one, right, the thought process is that I don't think of any topic to talk. Frankly speaking, I don't like intentionally think about, okay, today I should talk about ManyShoe, or today I should. Actually, the most important thing is that talk about something that you feel most for. Like for example, like I just recently filed a claim for my client. Then I just thought that, yeah, everybody should know about this. Then okay, let's whack on this. Then strategize. I don't really I don't strategize as to what I want to say. It's more of like I said, what you feel more strongly for, then you put it out there. Then last but not least is that don't okay, this is the most important one. This is the most important. A lot of us, right, we are afraid of doing videos or putting some content out there because we are afraid that we are wrong. Okay, yeah. So because we are afraid that people scrutinize, say, hey, wow, flame you and whatsoever. And because of that thought, right, we don't even want to put it out there. So if that is the case, right, you're scared that you're wrong, then you don't do it, right? That means you will never be able to prove yourself that you're right or something like that. So you go and do your research. Then once you research, you become an expert already. Then that's whereby you appear on the video, it seems like you are the expert. Yeah. So to answer the question, it's more of whatever topic that comes to your mind, you feel more strongly for, just whack and just go and video already. Yeah.
All right. Great, guys. Okay. So hopefully you guys have some value of this. Okay. And I just want to check, you guys got value for the last 1 hour plus with us. And I'd like to say a couple of things. I think number one, thank all of you who turned up for this session. Okay, on a fucking Friday night. Cannot believe it. Henry, you hungry? You're hungry. Henry, are you hungry? You at 9:30 already. Where's your dinner? I never see you eat at all. Are you going to eat or not? Are you going to eat later? Later. Okay. I hope Levinson and Jen and all that stuff able to value add and 填饱你肚子 okay, before you really go and eat okay. So of course, same with News iPad, Terrence, Gil, and all these people, Angeline, Evan, Spencer, Larry, and all these people, right? So I think thank you guys for turning up. Okay, now before you guys end off, 2020, I just want to end this off with a note. Okay, so 2020 has been a year that shocked everybody. It disrupted a lot of things. Not a lot of us really expected this. Now that being said, in 2021 this year, you realize in 2020 when COVID happened, everybody big hoo-ha, cannot go out, this and that, disrupt business. Suddenly you realize in 2021 this year, not a lot of people talk about disruptions anymore. Kind of like die down, the noise. It becomes a new normal, right? But I would like to implore all of you to really consider this. Think of because I can tell COVID is not going to end anytime soon, and that's a fact, right? I want you guys to really start thinking of the long term on what are the other repercussions of COVID that's going to affect your business. So what I mean by that is very simple. Consumer behaviors, right? Let's talk about Zoom. Used to be a lot of face-to-face, right? Now everybody's going on Zoom, having appointments, etc., right? Now, just if you look at this, this might seem very simple. Oh, everybody going on Zoom now, then I use more Zoom. But I implore you guys to go deeper than that. Now, what do I mean? You see, to excel in business or in the advisory and all that stuff, right? You must always think one step ahead. So you look at it. If everybody, see, when last time everybody do face-to-face, doing Zoom is very weird. Now, everybody do Zoom, right? Because it's the new norm. But if you go offline and actually connect, interact with these people, even though it's still whatever you did last time, which is connect with offline, it actually carries and holds more touch and more connection. You see, when everybody is going online, do the opposite, go offline, right? You see, value is always about being perceived. You see, offline in 2018, and offline now, technically you meet the person still the same. But now the value when you meet someone offline, the perceived value there is higher because of the context, right? Because now offline is a bit rarer, okay? So think of that, there's one particular repercussion, right? And also think of how can you leverage on all these technologies, right? To think of social media, think of Zoom, right? To make your business more efficient, right? Because of technology, because of COVID, everybody, and in this generation, everybody knows about information. You knowing your financial planning 101, it's not going to help much in getting leads. So your content, if you're posting content on social media, it needs to be more depth, have more perspective. What I call thought leadership, right? For those of you who do investments, some of you do investments, right? For the advisory. When you post social media, instead of posting, oh, this is a compound interest, how investment works. Think of sharing your opinion. And of course, please feel free to put a disclaimer, right? Share your opinion on what you think, how the market is going to be like. Because in times of chaos and crisis and struggle, everyone, whether you know it or not, prospect or client, looks for a leader. Makes sense? Everybody wants to know how things are going to be like. Right? And this is the best way to kind of like really position yourself and guide people out of this. Right? Think about it. Before COVID, everybody is talking about what? Making money. Right? Everybody's making money, investment and all that stuff. What if this year your team is not about making 100% return, but talking about making sure that you don't lose your money? Because that's more important, isn't it? Right? Instead of just talking about earning more money, think of the other way around. What if you position yourself as, my job this year is not to make you lose money, right? Because if you lose money, obviously then you have more shit to do lah. You all know the formula, right? If your capital is 10,000, you lose 5,000, requires 100%, to get back to your same capital again, right? So it's also equally important for that, yeah. So just want to end this off and for you guys to really think deeper in your business and make sure that you guys really learn from each other. Okay, I think most of you should be in a Facebook group. So please post your questions there if you guys have any. Kenny and I and the team, we will be posting more content there, doing more sessions like this. right? And feel free to reach out if any questions, because I think in times of this kind of struggle, we need to give each other support, because there's always abundance everywhere. Make sense? Okay. There's never ever scarcity. There's only abundance. Okay. So with that being said, thank you, Levinson, Jian Kun, and of course Kenny, who's helping out with all these things and stuff like that. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys had value, and love you all. Okay.